Okay, happy Sunday. Cranky Patriot Rob Harrington. Today is going to be Connect the Dots Day. Okay, first of all, politicians stay in office by campaign money. It is true through APAC Tracker that you can find that virtually 90 something percent of all of our politicians in Congress especially are receiving APAC money. APAC money is Israeli lobby, kind of questionable money that comes in, since APAC's not even necessarily a registered foreign agent, which they probably should be. But this is why many Americans are now feeling that Israel runs our country, because they do. So anyhow, I then cite the proof of the war votes, endless war votes in Congress. Congress voted, the House of Representatives more correctly, voted like 533-6 to send billions of dollars more for welfare programs for Israel and their war machine and their genocide and their dog rape of prisoners by IDF soldiers and their snipe shooting little brown Muslim kids in their ankles for sport, and just whatever evil the crazy Zionists are up to over there in the Middle East. So anyhow, if you look at all of Congress as both parties, between the Democrats and the Republicans, both parties are about equal in that vote. That's the proof I have that both parties, your party, the one you support, most likely, most of you, are guilty of aiding and abetting what we call war crimes. There's international UN committees that have determined that Israel's committing war crimes. They're war criminals. And remember, I like posting up all these videos of Germans who were getting hung or shot for war crimes after the Nuremberg trials. So it's ironic that American soldiers are shooting and hanging war criminals. Well, if you're a war criminal in Israel and there's another Nuremberg, and there should be, that means those guys should be getting hung and shot too. The question is, it won't be American soldiers doing it. What soldiers will? I'm hoping Turkey or Pakistan or Egypt, the entire Middle East, it should just go in there and then reduce Israel. We do need a two-state solution. I say we reduce Israel down to Tel Aviv and surround it by 2 miles outward of the city limits with barbed wire and landmine fields, and lock them up and let them feel what the Palestinians in Gaza feel like, and just let them eat each other to death, like the rat experiment. We'll talk more about the rat experiment. Just Google up something 25 rat experiment. We'll talk more about that. I got to refresh my memory on that. So now you have, let's circle back to our Congress. If they're making votes off their insider trading instincts on MIC, military industrial complex, and industrial and intelligence complex, money off endless wars for 25 years in the Middle East, I call it, that means they're voting for more perpetual endless wars that accomplish nothing. What have we really accomplished in the Middle East in the last 25 years? Zero. What they accomplished up on Capitol Hill is they all made money on it, millions of dollars between the bunch of them. They're thieves. And if they're thieving from us, and they're the ones who manipulated some weird vote back in 2012 about transparency and insider stock trading, yet it's still allowed to continue. There's a new bill asking for transparency in it. Well, why did they vote on a bill that wasn't transparent in the first place or enforceable? You see the problem with Congress? They're writing laws to protect themselves, not you and I, and they're behaving in a manner that would be illegal for you and I and anybody else in this planet. So they're fraudulent. They're criminals. They're also traitors, because if they're supporting war criminal activity, well, isn't that being like traitors to our Constitution? Are they working for Israel, or are they working for our Constitution to protect and defend from all enemies, foreign and domestic? Ugh. So what you ought to do, join up. We're starting a great podcast, me and Captain Kevin LaFawn. Centrist. We're centrist. We're centrist anarchy type guys. Peaceful means. So Centrist Radicals is the name of our show. And we'd like to invite y'all to listen to some of the most interesting interviews you're ever going to hear about our constitutional rights, our property rights, our free speech rights, and peaceful. I got 20, I'm writing a book and have been for years, and I just keep putting it off because I keep getting distracted with doing crazy stuff like this, talking to you lazy people out there who don't really want to fix this country, but you should. And that's why I'm in your face and in your grill. That's why I call you names and call you intellectually lazy and cowards, and because I'm trying to evoke a response from you that you'll say, dang it, I'm gonna participate. I'm gonna help fix this country. So fix America first, right? That's what we got to do. If you love this country, if you love what we were supposed to have been till we got hijacked. We've been hijacked for hundreds of years, okay, guys? It's always about money. Follow the money, okay? Now, why should you believe me? This is going to be a long video, so bear with me, a couple more minutes. Well, let's see. I was born to not one but two Air Force officers at Keesler Air Force Base. My mom was a flight nurse. My dad was a navigator. My dad segued into logistics and special operations for the Air Force, and received the third highest medal in the Air Force arsenal of medals for valor in combat, for doing heroic things over in Vietnam. And his job was killing communists. He was good at it. And we all hated communism. We still do. We shouldn't we? It's authoritarian. Remember the Nolan chart, X and Y. It's out there. I put it out there for y'all to help get you back in mind that there's a X-axis and a Y-axis. At the bottom is tyranny. That's communism, socialism, and fascism. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. So why should you listen to me? All right. Well, I'm also a social scientist, FSU. I barely graduated because I was a party boy, and I criminology degree and core sciences and social sciences, psychology and such. So I got into the car business, ironically enough, because I wasn't going to pass the piss test. I was smoking a little weed back in my day. I haven't really smoked a whole lot in the last 30 years because it's a waste of time for me anyhow. And so I don't even do gummies. Can you believe that? So anyhow, I got into the sales end of the car business for the last 41 years. Just hung up my license about 2 months ago. I'm done with it. It's again, the corporatists have destroyed the small independent space for car guys. But I was very much into writing process as a social scientist, car guy. Cars were just widgets for me. They were just units, something to sell. And I made a good deal of money at it too, because I was good at it. I was good at it because I could draw a differentiation between good and evil, between excellent communication, salesmanship skills, and manipulation. Because with excellent communication, salesmanship skills, and I was a trainer and a writer of books and manuals on sales training process for the car business or any other business, but primarily around the car business, the automotive industry. I was highly paid for that too, by the way, $1,000 a day. We'll talk more about that another time. The bottom line is that if you understand the more people you help to achieve their wants and needs, the better your book of business is going to be. Your referral and repeat business kicks in. And referral and repeat business is always cheaper than advertised business, which means it makes sense if you're a decent person, just treat people right and listen to their wants and needs, and then you sell to their wants and needs. You marry up your product and service to what it is they're looking for. And if you can't do that, you don't sell them something. You walk away from the sale. I walked away from a lot of sales, said, I don't think I got the right car for you. And people respected that, and they sent me even more business. And they came back and they wound up buying cars for me in the future. So it's a great way to do business, is take care of people. Don't screw them. Don't lie to them. Don't cheat them. So I use this literally this PhD in manipulation or careful communication, whichever way you want to look at it, because it comes back to motive. Are you Are you helping them or are you a con artist? Well, me being the devout good guy, always fighting the bullies, always tearing down evil and liars and cheats and thieves and lazy people. I can't stand those people. Can't stand them because they're jerks. They're selfish. They're pitiful human beings, and they're going to go to hell too. So putting all this together, why should you listen to an old car guy like me? Well, I wrote the book on it. So let me tell you, the oldest trick in the book for the car business is called what Tommy Hopkins, one of the world's greatest sales trainers, met him once, great guy, funny story for another time. And he had a deal called the alternate advance close. Well, when I wrote my sales book, my manuals, I called it the alternate choice close, so he wouldn't sue me for copyright infringement. So the alternate choice close, okay? And it goes like this. You can have the red model or the blue model, the red car, the blue car. Which one would you like to own? You see, I have framed the question to two things. That's it. You only have two choices. Well, we do the same thing with reds and blues, with Democrats and Republicans. If they're the only two options left on the buffet, the political spectrum, well, then by God, you're going to probably choose one or the other. Do you lean left or right? Well, now you go to the Nolan chart, the X and the Y. Your X-axis is going to be your left to your right. I don't know if it goes that way on video. I can't think that fast, I guess. But think of it. If you're getting sucked into being socially conscious on the left, but economically responsible on the right, what you're forgetting to fail to realize is that there's the Y-axis, and up top is freedom, liberty, less federal government. Hell, abolish most of it. 70% of it needs to go away. Let the states handle it. Power should be local. It should even be more local at your county than the state, and the state more powerful than the federal. And you should never have a global government, because a global government is just another scam to tax you and to steal money from you, aka carbon credits and AI centers and all this other crap and flock cameras. Yeah, that's all globalist, crap. So anyhow, the bottom line, if you think about it, they're using the same trick they use at a car dealership. Do you want your payment to be $500 a month or $600 a month? With 3,000 down or 5,000 down. All they're doing is manipulating your choice and framing your direction. And whatever you pick, you're actually probably losing. You're only picking because they're giving you that choice. Well, you don't need to pick between Republicans and Democrats anymore. They both are owned by their own fascist, Zionist, corporatist masters. Now, let's talk about fascism. Fascism is corporatism. Those aren't my words. Those are Benito Mussolini's words. So with Benito saying fascism and corporate, what that means is that when the corporation and the government are married, when they're thick as thieves, kissing cousins, their job is to screw you every which way but loose, because that's how they stay in power and stay profitable. Two things. So it always goes back to money. So who are the globalist corporate fascists of today? They're the Zionists, and the Zionists have been around for a long time. We can almost trace it back to some fake Jews that were wandering around Europe called the Rothschilds, who got into banking because, see, banking, it was illegal under the Bible and the Quran for the Muslims, and the Bible for Christians, Catholics, especially kings and queens in Europe. It was illegal to loan money, especially at usurious rates. Maybe just a loan. You couldn't loan it with interest. So they had to turn to and give the franchise for banking to the Jewish faith. Well, who were the Jewish faith? They weren't really Semites, because Semites are from Palestine or that area. So when they call you a Semite, they're saying you're anti-Semite. What they're trying to say is you're an anti-Palestinian. Makes no sense. Well, see, that's the mind tricks that they play you. And this old car guy, I can read that stuff from 10 million miles away, whatever. I smell bullshit before it ever happens, almost. Okay? I anticipate it. I look for it. And that's why I'm ready for it. And that's why I probably am one of the most qualified guys in the world who's lived around the world, whose dad sent 50% of the communiques from the Caracas, Venezuela embassy to Langley at CIA headquarters, half the messages, whose dad did wind up being a special ops trainer in guerrilla warfare, counterinsurgency, psyops. That was my dad's stuff, you know, and I had his library. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. And as the only kid living around the world for Uncle Sam, I read a lot of these books. And so I got propagandized myself, okay? So I want you to think of this. Why am I qualified to help coach you up? Well, this is why. This is my dad's dog tag from Vietnam, killing communists, okay? Little did he know, communism was bought and paid for by American and European industrialists and bankers and politicians. Okay, they needed a war every year. And the best way to do it is to divide and conquer. Use Sun Tzu, Art of War. Read the book. It's quick. It's a fast read. It's a brilliant book from Sun Tzu. It'll teach you how you're being manipulated and how you're being beaten every day, and how inflation created by the Federal Reserve and fiat money based upon decimals and zeros and ones and algorithms, it's not really money. It's a fake system that they set up that they don't have to support with gold or silver. So it's fake, just like fake Jews or Zionists are fake Jews, just like your politicians are fake Republicans or fake Democrats, just like all the laws are fake. They're fake only because you think that they're credible and have weight to them. But a law is unconscionable if it's unconscionable to the Constitution. The law's void. It's null. So now, where are all the attorneys in this? Attorneys would sell their mothers out for $1, okay? They're the most arrogant people on the planet. Now, we do need to find some constitutionalist attorneys who are probably good people and are fighting the good fight, but most corporate attorneys are just POSs. I know, I can tell you more about that when we talk about mortgage fraud, because that's going to come up in our podcast as well. I was JP Morgan Chase's worst freaking enemy. And I know, I got proof on that deal. More on that story on another day. 7 years in and out of court. I got a great story that I'm going to tell. So you know why I can talk about all this? Why I'm not afraid? Because I'm dying. I have a bad heart. I died in Santa Marta 6 years ago. Died. Gringo, you were dead. I got witnesses. God kept me alive, though. Brought me back to life. Here I am, 6 years later. Died 3 times since, most likely. If I didn't go to the hospital, I would have been dead. Bad heart. We're all going to die. They say we start dying when we're born. So I don't fear retribution by a government, especially if I'm preaching for peaceful resistance, peaceful change, to eliminate all Democrats and all Republicans, to get rid of the political party system and only vote for independents. All right, to take the corporate money out of elections. Citizens United was a scam and a scheme, like most everything else. Needs to be eliminated, needs to be overturned. All right, corporations are not people, because corporations in court, they don't act like people. They act like criminal gangs, and they are criminal gangs, and they're getting away with crimes because lawyers are letting them get away with it. Basically, judges or lawyers, right? So it's all rigged, okay? And we're going to talk more about the system being rigged. So, okay, I'm also not afraid of being killed. Can't kill a dying man. They'll probably keep me from suffering. So if you're going to shoot me right here. Here, aim here, motherfuckers. I don't care. You know, I got nothing to lose. And that makes me, hopefully, America's most dangerous man, preaching peaceful principles of peace on earth and fairness and justice for all people, all religions, all races, all genders. There's 2, but let's say there's 57. I don't care. Because bottom line, I don't have to live their life for them. That's their life. And they got to pay consequential prices they got to pay for deciding there's 57 sexes out there when I think there's 2. But okay, that's fine. All socioeconomic ranges, rich, poor, women, men, whatever, young, old. It doesn't matter. We want to unite all of America to completely eliminate, not overthrow our government, but to completely take all money out of politics and all political parties out of politics, and just make it, may the men and women with the best independent ideas, they have the most support, and sign agreements when they're running for office that they will never go back on a campaign promise. They will turn themselves in to jail voluntarily if they go back on a campaign promise, because that's based upon fraud. They got elected on campaign promises. They go to jail, they turn themselves in. I will turn myself in if I commit fraud to you, the voters. Okay, so I'm going to end this thing because we're going on 20 minutes now, and none of you got past a minute. I hope you did. I hope you got to all 21 minutes, probably going to end. I'm going to tell you this. Number one, I don't want any of your money. Number two, I will never run for political office. I've been down that road. More on that and other stories and podcasts and all of the centrist war criminals? No. Centrist domestic terrorists? No. Centrist radicals. There we go. So anyhow, I will never run for office. And third of all, I never committed suicide. I'll let them kill me. All right? I don't care. Are you brave enough to die for your country? I am. And if you're a veteran or a Christian, a real Christian, not a Ziohead Christian who's been bought and paid for with the Scofield Bible lies that was set up by Zionists who set up C.I. Scofield, who's a con artist, a liar, a philanderer, a prisoner. He was in prison for fraud, stolen valor, Civil War guy. The guy was just a POS. And somehow he got tapped by Zionists to sell the Scofield Reference Bible to the Baptist Assembly of God, Bible colleges across the South or wherever. You guys are idiots. You need to throw your Zionist pastor out the door, take his pulpit and burn it in the driveway outside of your church, and repent. Fall on your knees and repent to God for listening to false teachings. And the Bible talks about false teachings, right? And false teachers. That's Satan's work. That's the devil working on you. So we need vets who want to admit they were lied to about working for the corporations, who appreciate your servitude for their stock values increasing wildly because of their forever endless wars for profits, that don't free anybody, that don't give liberty or hope to anybody. Because what did we accomplish in 25 years in the Middle East? Nothing. Goose egg, nada, right? That's true. So you veterans got to come on board and say, we were used and abused. We're also going to do veterans outreach with our group. with our group, we're going to do veterans outreach. We're going to have lots and lots of information about how they steal your properties, because your property rights are part of the Constitution, right? How they're going to violate your free speech rights, because that's certainly part of the Constitution. Your Bill of Rights, we're going to cover all this stuff. We're going to give you great advice, how to avoid getting in traps. Some of the sovereign movement stuff, I got to call BS on it. And I'll tell you why soon. Experiencing that as well. How to avoid third parties. They're not going to work. The system's too corrupt to make third parties viable. That's why we have to put in independents and who don't have corporate backing and who aren't taking Zionist money for sure, right? For sure. So I guess here we are, 23 and a half minutes later. Probably time to give you a chance to replay this and watch it 10 freaking times, because you people are intellectually lazy, and if you want to give up on your liberty and your freedom because you're lazy, well, maybe you deserve to be dragged into a pit somewhere and shot in the back of your head, because that's what happens to slaves that don't want to stand up and fight for their rights. They're going to get you in the end. So why should you listen to a cranky old car guy, cranky old patriot? Because I might just know what the truth is. And maybe you should too.